me. And he who does not gather with me scatters. And all these things, when you're looking at them and breaking them down like we're doing right now, seem so very independent. They don't seem like they go together. But when you go back and you read it all together, then it really makes sense. He who is not with me is against me. What did Jesus just say there? It's pretty simple. You're either on my team or you're not. Jesus says, not everyone who says unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but who will? Those who do the will of the Father. Jesus says right here, if you're not with me, you're against me. So you're either doing what he wants you to do or you're not. He who does not gather with me, well, how do we gather? Jesus said, the harvest is plentiful, but those that are willing to go out and work are few. Pray that the Lord of the harvest send out workers into the field. He who does not gather with me scatters. So we're either working with God to bring people, working with Jesus to bring people to God, or we're doing the opposite. There is no middle ground. A little bit scary, isn't it? No, there's not a fence to sit on. That's exactly right, Chuck. There's no middle ground. There's no sitting on the sidelines. We're either fully in the game or we're not. Exactly. Yep.
And the word against makes you think that you're not just sitting there idly complacent. I don't care. It's like you're against
You're against him.
things that are,
Absolutely.
and we see that in the life of Saul of Paul,
Yes.
where he was fighting Jesus and then was converted.
Yep. That's exactly right. You're either for or against. There is no middle ground. There's no sitting on the sidelines. Jesus then goes on in verse 24 and says, when an unclean spirit goes out of a man, he goes through dry places seeking rest and finding none. He says, I will return to my house from which I came. And when he comes, he finds it swept and put in order. Then he goes and takes with him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter and dwell there. The last state of the man is worse than the first. And it happened as he spoke these things that a certain woman let me back up. Let's stop right here for a second. All right, so we've looked at this. So we started out, if you go to the beginning of this, there was a friend who was wanting bread. He goes to his neighbor's house. His friend said, nope, not a convenient time, go away. Jesus says, keep knocking. The guy's going to finally answer the door. Jesus says, I'm telling you, ask, it'll be given. Seek, you're going to find. Knock, the door will be open for you. Right? Then Jesus says, you know how to give your children food if you're hungry. If they're hungry and they come to you, you don't give them a stone, you give them bread. You give them what they need. Well, if you, being imperfect, know that, then God, who knows everything, is willing to give you His Spirit, wanting to give you His Spirit. If a strong man comes to your house and takes you over, you're going to lose everything you got. If you go in and you fix everything in your house and you kick that person out of your house that was taking everything over from you, and you clean everything up and leave it nice and tidy and empty, there's going to be 7 more come in and take over. They're just going to go get reinforcements and come back and take you over. When you put all this together and you start at the very beginning of someone wanting the bread of life and you read all the way through this, there is one very simple message that is being delivered through this. We have to have the power of God or Satan will take our lives over. We have to ask for His help. We have to seek Him out. And we have to knock and knock and knock to make sure that we get the answers. And if we don't do that, we will have times in our life where we will get everything cleaned out and we'll get our lives just the way we want them. But before you know it, here comes Satan back in again with more power and force and takes us over again. Can you fall away as a Christian? According to this, you can, because that's exactly what it's talking about. we can be right here where we want to be, and we let our guard down, Satan's willing to walk right in. And the state is worse than it was before. That makes sense? When you put all this together, how important is it to be hungry for the bread of life? How important is it to be willing to ask God for help, to seek out His righteousness, to knock and knock and knock on His door? How important is it? How hungry are you? You need to constantly be asking. Every single day. Every single day. Questions, comments?
Jerry, I think sometimes we talk about we try to limit God, but I think we try to limit the Spirit. I think we don't
We do.
give the Spirit the opportunity.
Yeah.
We try to limit it,
We do.
and that goes back to our way of grace.
We limit. Yeah, we do. All right. Thank y'all.